Up with your friend. I know there's no use to confront her, but how do you say this is the end? I'm through being taken for granted. I'm the one you call when nobody's home. Being with you means just disappointment. I'm the last escape, so I've been told. Don't bring that bomber to my door again, my friend. You know that you've been crying wolf too many times before this time. I know it. Been there, I've done that. Those words are just sand in my hair. So talk if you like. The words will be words till you bring them to life. So talk if you like. The words will be words till you bring them to life. Words will be words till you bring them to life. Words will be words till you bring them to life. Till you bring them to life.
Welcome to the show. That was Talk featuring Anya Gold and Saint Michael, or I should say Saint Michael featuring Anya Gold. This is Let's Catch Up with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Vatter. Yeah, so this is how we're used to seeing each other, right? With masks on. And yeah, hopefully that is coming to an end soon, but yeah, probably not though for a while, right? Unfortunately. Um, I mean, soon, right? But not like real soon because people are peopling, as I like to say. People are peopling, and that is just the way it's going to be for a while. But yeah, let's get rid of that because, yeah, people are peopling, and that's just the way people are. But you know what? I just wanted to do a quick show today because I want to say thank you to the frontline workers and the grocery store clerks and the Amazon delivery people and the Uber drivers and the oh, there's a weird this side. Oh, this side there. There's a weird like light there. That's okay. I'll lean up or lean back or something. There we go. There's a weird shadow over my eye there. I just want to say thank you to all the frontline workers, the grocery store clerks and the stock people and the Amazon delivery people and the Uber drivers and the DoorDash and the Grubhub and anyone in a similar line of work, the cab drivers, depending on where you are and what your equivalent to that is, because I know not every municipality has the same rules as far as that goes. But you know what I mean when I say those types of workers, because we wouldn't be able to have gotten through this year, and not just 2020, but this actual 14 months, 12 years plus, year plus, without you guys, without y'all, um, because it's been more than a year. It's been a crazy amount of time, 14 months and ongoing. Um, it's been more than any of us bargained for. My husband and I were talking the other day about how, when he was sent to work from home, it was supposed to be for a couple of weeks over a year ago. And, a lot of people, didn't get to go back to work ever anywhere. And he's been fortunate enough to now work from home indefinitely, and then he has a steady paycheck. And I was able to get a full-time job working from home, and I'm coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that job. Working from home, a full-time job working from home, and it's been a huge blessing, and that's not a word that I use lightly or indelicately. So I just wanted to say thank you. This is going to be a short show, but it's a thank you to everyone who's helped. The people who created the vaccine in Germany and Europe, the true operation, you know, warp speed that Donald Trump has been taking credit for, and he doesn't deserve to take credit for. Dr. Fauci and his team with the CDC and the World Health Organization and everyone else who's really stepped up. And people are scared of the vaccine, and you shouldn't be. I've had my first dose. My husband's had his first dose. My parents have had both of their vaccine shots. The Fauci ouchie, as I like to call it. Oh, I should get my Dr. Fauci. I have a Dr. Fauci bobblehead. Hopefully, I don't mess up my green screen by getting up. Sometimes that causes mess ups. When that happens. Oh, heard the clunk there. My my Dr. Fauci bobblehead there. That my mother sent me as a Christmas gift, I think, or birthday gift last year. I can't remember which now. All the days run together. But my Dr. Fauci bobblehead, he's been a stalwart shepherd throughout all of this. So and he says on the back, flatten the curve. We can't flatten the curve if we don't stay diligent, right? And don't be afraid of this vaccine. A lot of people have been falling victim to these online rumors, and even somebody I hold near and dear in my heart said that they heard in church, of all places, that the vaccine can cause infertility or can cause birth defects for future pregnancies, and that there's no proof of that. There's no founded science on that. There are a lot of unknowns with this virus and with any vaccine. But this is not, people say, well, it's Operation Warp Speed, and this vaccine was developed very, very quickly, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't in some sense of the term quickly, but and it is a novel virus, but it's a novel strain of a virus that's been around forever. COVID-19 means it's the strain of the virus from 2019. There have been coronaviruses around for eons. There will be a COVID-20 and a COVID-21 and a COVID-25 and a COVID-30 and a COVID-35 and a COVID-50 and a COVID-99. There have been COVID viruses, coronaviruses around since the beginning of time. We just never heard about them or heard about them in this magnitude because they weren't killing people. They weren't causing this kind of global pandemic. So, scientists like Dr. Fauci and the CDC and the World Health Organization and, other organizations like them have been working on vaccines for the coronavirus and COVID for 20, 30 years. And just like they've been working on, cures for diabetes and cancer, the hundreds of different kinds of cancer, and they've been working on cures for HIV/AIDS, and they've been working on, vaccines for the flu. Every few years, there's a new strain of the flu, and they've been working on cures for polio and rabies and all the things that we've heard about our entire lives, and our parents and grandparents and their parents and grandparents and our children and grandchildren will also hear about. These scientists have been working on vaccines and cures for these diseases and these viruses forever. So when they say this is a new virus or it's a novel virus, it's a new or novel version of a virus or a strain that's been around for a while. And when they say that it is a new vaccine or it's a warp speed cure or warp speed treatment, it's an existing treatment or an existing um, research that they have put on warp speed to get to the end result. So it's not that the research is brand new. It's research that's been around. They have just amped up. You can't go from zero to warp speed. And, if you think about the term warp speed is a science fiction term. Anyone who's a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars or Space 99 or any of those Space Balls, even any of those science fiction shows and movies knows you can't go from zero to warp speed without the ship tearing apart. So and I'm probably going to be be dinged and corrected on that by somebody, but essentially you can't go from zero to warp speed without things just hitting the fan. So you have to amp up to warp speed. If you think of the movie Spaceballs, they went from zero to warp speed to ridiculous speed to ludicrous speed, and then they had to go to code plaid because shit started hitting the fan, and the ship started breaking apart. You can't do that. You can't go to ludicrous speed that quickly. You have to ease into it. So that's what these scientific experts have done. And if you're willing to get the flu shot every year, and I know some people are not, if you're willing to get vaccinated for MMR and whooping cough and all those other things that we get vaccinated for all the time, there's no reason to not get the COVID vaccine, the coronavirus vaccine, um, because there's the same and just as little risk involved. Um, I have made no qualms or bones about telling you guys I have OCD, and at times it's debilitating OCD. I'm not the Khloe Kardashian. I've got OCD. I've got to organize my Oreo cookies OCD. I have true diagnosed, medicated for OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And I have sometimes thrived in this pandemic of not wanting to leave my house. Um, the kind of OCD that causes agoraphobia, the kind of OCD that causes me to not want to be around people. Um, I'm an introverted extrovert or extroverted introvert, whatever whatever way you want to phrase that. I love being around people when I want to be around people, but this pandemic has caused me to take a step back from that and really evaluate and reevaluate how I want to or how I choose to be social. And I'm kind of getting a little bit off track there. But my point in telling you that or reiterating that to you is to kind of remind you that, um, you know, I have been afraid of this virus in many different types of ways, but I'm not afraid of the vaccine. As soon as they said this vaccine is ready, I said, sign me up. I have asthma. I've had asthma all my life, off and on. I have chronic bronchitis because of that asthma. I do have difficulty breathing at times. You probably hear me a little bit. I have to catch my breath after, every few sentences or whatever, and not being able to work out. I used to work out every single day. I love working out. I love going to the gym. Not being able to do that for the past 14 months has been not only physically taxing on me, it's been psychologically taxing on me. Um, but it's also, hurt my breathing. It's hurt not being able to, not being aerobic has hurt my physical health. And but I'd rather be at home and be safe than to be out where the germs are, where people are not wearing masks and not washing their hands and not wiping down gym equipment the way they're supposed to be. So when they said this vaccine was ready, I said, sign me up. I went to my doctor. I said, give me a physical, give me an evaluation. Am I eligible for this vaccine? And he said, yes. He said, you are high risk because of your asthma, because of your chronic bronchitis. You should get this vaccine, but you also need to keep following the guidelines of social distancing and staying at home and wait until there's herd immunity before you go out into the masses. Don't do indoor dining. Don't sit in a crowded movie theater. Don't be out in a room where there's 100 people who may or may not be following the guidelines of, washing and, quarantining if they're exposed, etc. So I'm going to keep doing what I need to do to keep me and my loved ones safe. I'm going to keep masking up. I'm going to keep double masking when I need to. I'm going to keep washing my hands and carrying hand sanitizer and doing all those things that I need to do to keep you guys safe and keep myself safe. So I hope you guys do that as well. I hope you get the vaccine, but understand that the vaccine doesn't make you a superhero. We all like to think we're invincible at different points in our lives, but we're not. That's the bottom line. And, I've lost, sadly, I'm starting to lose count. But across this country, across this planet, I've lost 20 something people in the last 14 months just to COVID or complications from COVID. I just found out yesterday that I lost a friend of ours. Sorry, lost a sweet friend of ours who she had cancer, and she was actually recovering and doing really well, and then she was exposed to COVID during her recovery from cancer, and passed away yesterday. So wasn't planning on talking about that. It was just something that came to mind. But she's one of 20 something people that we've lost in the last year. So it's it just happens. It's one of those things, that life goes on, right? And we have to be diligent. We have to be vigilant for those that we care about. And the people that are still here are the ones that rely on us. So, but life does go on, because yesterday I'm a wedding officiant. That's something I get to do to help people, bring joy to their lives. And yesterday I got to do my first wedding of the pandemic, which was great. An old friend of mine, a couple a couple that I've known for a long time, got married yesterday, and I was proud to be a part of that wedding. It was a combination Zoom and in-person social distance wedding, and I was very proud to be a part of that, and I was honored to be a part of that. So thank you if you're seeing this. Sorry. But it was a great event. It was a great ceremony, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. We had a lot of people attend via Zoom, and a few people attend in person with masks and social distancing, and it was a lot of fun. And I was really happy and proud to be a part of that moment. So thank you for including me in that. And life does go on, and there were sadly some people who couldn't make it to that wedding. For various reasons, and a few people that were able to make it who were not supposed to be there, and they were a surprise to the brides. So it was a great event, and life does go on, and we will continue to go on because of people like Dr. Fauci. And you know what? This is one of those moments in our lives that we will look back on and we will say, I cannot believe that was 10 years ago. I cannot believe how quickly we got through that. It feels like an eternity when we're sitting in it, and it feels like it's never going to end. But you know what? This is going to end, and it is going to be something we look back on. It's going to be something like something horrible like Pearl Harbor, or the Kennedy assassination, or 9/11, or the Challenger explosion, or one of those things that we look back on and we say that was a horrible event in our history, but we made it through it, and we survived, and we are better for it, and we are a stronger human race because of it. This last year, these last 14 months have been hell for a lot of people. And we've lost a lot of people. But think of all the things that we've accomplished. We've proven to ourselves how strong we can be and how tough we can be and how resilient we can be. You know what? We found ways to connect that we didn't know we had before. Things like Zoom and other means of video conferencing and, FaceTime and Amazon Echo and things like that we didn't, that were there, Skype and other ways of communicating that we kind of had forgotten about. Go-to meetings and things like that we kind of forgot about and we didn't really utilize before. Things that have enabled us to connect that we really had forgotten about and we weren't utilizing. And we've persevered. And for some people, that's become their only lifeline. And it's been a year of finding ways to connect in unconventional ways to connect. And we will always be there for each other, right? So here's to another year of connecting and reaching out. Don't forget about each other. Don't forget to mask up when you go outside. Don't forget to social distance, but get that shot as soon as you can, as soon as you're able. And join me next week, because next week I'm going to have a panel on to discuss the recent hate crimes against the Asian American and Pacific Islander community, Black Lives Matter, and hate crimes against the people of color in this country. It needs to end, guys. I don't know what we're thinking. The government said we can start going outside again, and some of you ammosexuals have grabbed your guns and gone outside and started shooting up the place again. We can't let this return to normalcy include mass shootings. It needs to stop. So next week I'm going to have a panel on to discuss that, and I'm really proud of this panel. These are people who are really going to make you think and change your minds on a lot of things. Hopefully not change your minds. Hopefully you're already in the right place. Hopefully you're already in the right mindset. I don't know if you heard that. That was my Amazon telling me that I have a delivery, probably my groceries. So thank you again to all of those people who make things like that possible, so that we don't have to go to the grocery store and stand in line. But if you do have to go to the grocery store and stand in line, thank you to the people who Instacart. I forgot Instacart. People like Instacart who and Shipped, who go to the grocery store and stand in line for us, and the people at the grocery store who wait on them so that we don't have to go and do that. You know what? And thank you to the people who make masks and gloves and hand sanitizer. I don't know who you are, but thank you for doing those things and for stepping up production this year. You know what? And the toilet paper companies and the paper towel companies and the people like Clorox and Lysol who really, really stepped up production this year. Okay, that's a happy note to end on. I love you guys. Thank you again for everything. Thank you for tuning in. And to my viewers and listeners in Canada and Mexico, I know I've added you recently. And to my friends in Poland, I have listeners or viewers, I guess, in Poland now. Thank you. I don't know how to say anything in Polish. Hopefully you guys have subtitles, or you've learned enough English to follow me. I just found out that YouTube has a subtitle translation feature, but I know that Google Translate does wondrous things. So I don't know how you're following me, but I got a message from you guys. So great. I don't know how you found me, but I appreciate it. So thank you so much. And one more thing. I'm starting another podcast. This one's not going anywhere, I promise. But a group that I work with called OCD Jacksonville is starting a new podcast, and I've been asked to host it. It'll be called, the official title is OCD Voices SOS Sharing Our Stories. You can find us on any of the, you will be able to find us, we haven't started yet, any of the podcast outlets by going to hashtag OCS. Obviously, I'm tired. It's a Friday afternoon. OCD SOS, hashtag OCD SOS, or hashtag OCD JAX, JAX. For those of you outside of Jacksonville, it's hashtag OCD JAX. So, or OCDJacksonville.com will also have the link, but it's OCD SOS for short. OCD Sharing Our Stories is the official title. So, it'll be an audio only podcast. So, that is recording its first episode this week, and it'll be available soon. So, in the meantime, live long and prosper, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much for tuning in, and new episodes coming soon. Like I said, next week I have that panel on hate crimes and racial disparity. So tune in. I know it sounds heavy, and it will be, but it'll be a fun discussion because I like to keep things as light as possible. So thanks again. Thank you to all the frontline workers. Love you guys.
Just stand in my hands, so tough. Be words till you bring them to life, so tough. Be words till you bring